There we go. Hello everyone, Star here. Welcome to today's video. I'm doing this in a live stream form because I've got something today. This heavy box is the Anycubic Mega S, an i3 style 3D printer. FDM based, not resin. I have one of those. It's a mess and expensive, but nice. Not the point. So, okay, we're moving you. There we go. So, the Anycubic Mega S is sitting right there. So I'm going to do some real quick, just kind of looks into the printer through the Amazon link that I have to it. If I can find it real quick, I've opened it so many times that Amazon automatically recommends it to me. So the printer's dimensions are 8.27 inches by 8.27 inches by 8.07 inches, aka 210 millimeters to 10 millimeters by 205 millimeters. Not a big printer in terms of like comparing to the Ender 3, but due to the i3 style build, it's very, very easy to modify its size and design. Where unlike an Ender 3 style, where you have to get new V slots, which can sometimes be a pain to configure, drilling holes to make them exactly the same as your previous set, the i3 styles just simply use beams, basic 8mm rods. They're called linear rods. Now, as far as a starter printer goes, the Anycubic Mega S is a really good choice because it's a printer that, while it doesn't need mods due to the fact that it's a V6 style hot end, Bondtech gears, or I think knockoff Bondtech style extruder, nice heated bed, comes with that weird like coated glass bed that's like ceramic or whatever that I love. Honestly, I have one on my Ender 3 created by Creality, scratched it up, but still good. And also dual Z. So a lot of the mods that a lot of people would put on a normal Ender, like dual Z, various other basic stuff that doesn't require a lot of retuning, is what's stock on this printer. Saves you like $50 because on an Ender 3, that's how much a dual Z mod costs. Yet this printer is currently about $250 on Amazon. Well, $26.99 with a $20 discount for the Mega S. I'm actually just going to slap that link in chat there. Oh, too long. Crap. Whatever. I'll probably put it in the link in the description or something like that. Can I actually do that real quick? Edit. Here. Bam. Bam. Perfect. First link put in the description for now. But yeah, so I have this giant box next to me from Anycubic. By the way, this is not sponsored. I'm not being paid to do this. This is just me getting a new child to run in our little home factory we have here. And all of which have been starter printers, funny enough. We have the Ender 3 down there, the longer Orange 10, though I've been considering upgrading it for like an Orange 30 or another Creality machine. Depends. I'm starting to be less impressed with Creality, to put it simply. They've made some very questionable decisions as far as who they allow their company to represent and also their build. I'm off topic. That's besides the point. What we're here today for is a printer. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to unbox the printer, assemble the printer, try and get a first print running. I'm not going to finish the print in this video, probably not, as it's about 8:30-ish, 8:58, almost 9 o'clock. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to start the print, sleep, and then a week from now, I'll give the second look into the printer, where I've used the printer a little bit, had some time with it, seen the print quality, probably tuned it using thousands of Cali Cats or 3Y skulls that I've really enjoyed printing. Actually, this one's probably cleaner. Yeah. Real fun. Just good stuff, honestly. Live chat. Turn on replay. Anyone can send. No need for slow-mo. Okay. That should be good. Just various stuff to make it good. Stream. What can I edit there? Oh, nothing, because there's nothing to edit there. Send feedback. Okay, we're all good. Sorry. I haven't streamed on PC ever, so this might be weird. I'm also going to be using Cura on my computer, so it might also get awkward because I might have to get close. All right, enough of my babbling. Let's get the printer on the desk. Well, let's see if we can fit the printer on the desk. If not, we might have to move like to the floor or something like that. Yeah, I also just got back from spending some time with family, so I literally just got back. My suitcase is on the floor open because I had to get my computer out from my suitcase. So that's fun. I'll just kick it out of frame if it's needed. All right, let's see if this printer will fit on the desk, shall we? Almost 6 minutes in. Oh my God. It's not even that bad, it's just big. It's like a 25-pound box. Okay. Now we just cut this thing open. Trying not to split ourselves in half. Every time I've ever gotten a printer from Amazon, it's never Amazon branded packaging. They physically don't have boxes big enough for printers. I think that's amusing because they sell even bigger printers. You know, if I were to get not an Anycubic, I'm trying to think of the machine, but there are just some really big printers out there that exist, like Raise 3D's printers. Those are big. You get the E2. Actually, E2 is not that bad. The Raise Pros. Oh my God. Oh, so much of the mass is foam though, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm going to try and get all of this out of the box on the table where it'll be more compact. So give me a second. You're going to have to bear with this awkward frame of me maneuvering a box, having to go between standing and sitting for a little bit. Everything's in foam and in a bag. Foam. Oh, there's a printer base. That's nice. I've done a little research on this printer just because I had to. All right, I'm gonna stand up. I'm standing on a swivel chair. This is risky, but I have to maneuver the printer out of the box because this box is causing issues. Take this. Move this out of the way. Still no one's here. That's fine. Nothing left in the box. Toss that to the side. Oh boy. Okay. And this is what we're left with. This actually feels lighter, in all fairness, and kind of takes up less space. I don't know. Okay, so get the freaking bag off this thing. Things are annoying. I don't understand the need for a bag, in all fairness. Oh, I see a stepper motor. Ah, fuck. I got shocked. Apparently the motor was a little charged. That's not cool. I'm not saying that's a bad sign. I'm just saying freaking ow. Okay, so we have the first foam layer holds this big, whoa, that's cool. This big frame here. And I hear scraping. But I will say the only existing wobble in the printer is purely coming from the base wobbling against the uneven silicone pad. So that's a good sign. Oh, that's a big carriage here. This is going to be fun. Yeah. Well, I don't intend on like immediately modding the printer, obviously, because this thing starts in a condition that for once you don't need to mod a starter printer, which is beautiful. But it certainly could use some design input. Okay, so now we have, oh, let's try and be gentler with this thing. Oh, it comes with a really tight-fitting silicone sock on the hot end. And what looks like a fully assembled hot end? Thanks. Me sliding is not making this easier. Alright, so let's... Oh, it has two end stop switches to have the Z's level. That is I love this printer. This thing already has won some of my favoritism. It's heavy. Like, my groans of effort are not, oh, I'm such a wimp. No, this thing's heavy. Oh, it has a spring-loaded setup. Stop sticking to me. Yeah, it's dual Z motors. There's this really long screw in here attached to a spring. I'm thinking that's probably the extruder setup? No, extruder's over here. Oh, I've never seen a Bondtech style extruder. And I'm glad I did. That's neat and beefy. And that tells me that if I put it on my ender, I'm working with something. Oh, this big thing. Oh, this big thing. Okay. So let's very carefully set you down. Actually, let's return you to the original positions. I should probably do that. These are tiny couplers, by the way. For the Z's, uses tiny couplers. I'm trying to move this thing up. I just realized I haven't given you guys an actually good look at this. Caution, this paper can be used for leveling hot surface during operation. Thank you. That's not nice. That's not a good sound. Popping is never a good noise in printers. So it looks like this is like a tensionable Z of some sort. So we have this right here, which holds a good bit of wiring. And we have X-axis, which sits up here. We got dual Z in a pretty nice fashion with twin end stuff. This printer is a workhorse of a design. I've also never seen a V6. And that's apparently how they look. How's the nozzle screwed in? How well is that in? That's in there. Oh, wow. They assembled this printer. Yeah, so to be fair, I'm not a fan of the sound linear rods make, but when all you have is friction to run off of, I understand. Now, my question is tensioning. You can't tension this belt. Yet somehow this thing is meant to withstand time. That raises some worries, but this printer is very highly rated, so I will be kind. This thing also comes with these really nice bed clamps. They hold the bed in place. I've never seen a printer that came with these. And so that automatically earns some points for me. Oh, that's weird. They aren't like attached to a nut or anything like that. It's just a threaded screw in there, so that definitely needs to be fixed because that'll be annoying. Hey, free painter's tape. Put on the printer. Nah, I never attach things to print beds. In my opinion, that's a cardinal sin. Yeah, we have these motors, wires running from here and here. It looks nice. It looks really nice. It looks clean too. This looks like a well-engineered item. It's beautifully symmetrical with a motor over here, the extrusion motor. Then we have the X, we have Z down here. It's beautifully symmetrical as far as that goes. Everything can be tightened and reconstructed. Hello. Something just slid off the phone back there. But everything can be tightened and reconstructed really easily, making muds super universal. This thing seems to have the exact same build as the Prusa i3. If you take off this big piece and take off this and just have nothing but a raw hot end mount, it would be pretty much an i3 Prusa. Just a Prusa. Prusa isn't exactly an i3. It's a Prusa style machine. It's an i3, standard printer. But it's beautifully standard. It's standard done in a way that is done well. And why are there zip ties on the belt? This printer uses so many zip ties. Oh, I see why there's zip ties. It looks like it holds. There's 3 zip ties on each side. So the way this works is the belt seems to loop in through this hole, out, and then zip ties hold it closed together. Usually this wouldn't work, but because of how toothed belts are, the teeth grip into each other and then the zip ties just hold them shut, meaning they don't actually need to be that strong. Now, this is different than I thought. I thought there were 2 linear bearings right here, but there's 1 linear bearing on the bottom, 1 on the top, despite the fact that the top of the plate is thinner than the bottom. Which, makes sense because how beefy this freaking fan shroud is. Like, this is massive, but they're also fitting actual electronics in here. Like, rather than having to plug everything individually into the printer, it's got 3 big ports right here, big boy ports, and all of the motor wiring and everything like that just simply hook up together in those big boy ports. Yeah. And I'm not entirely sure how this is going to assemble, but it seems like it'll be something like this on the big frame. And let me set this down over here on some nice cushion beanbag chair. That's going to slide off. That is currently sliding off. Yeah. There we go. Oh, chair, don't slide. This is the bed. It slides around pretty freely. That's the sound the linear bearings make, but I'm pretty sure they'll be dwarfed by the appalling fan noise that I've heard it has. So let's open up this baggie here. See what we have in store, so we can actually assemble this sucker. It comes with a replacement V6. Oh, that's so nice. Once again, I've never owned a V6, so looking at this thing right in front of me is really neat. This isn't an official V6. This is also the Bowden style V6, style of a V6, where it has a coupler that screws in the top rather than just having a narrow hole. This thing also has a really tight-fitting silicone sock that holds in the heat really well, I'm assuming. Yeah, this is probably the best engineered hot end I've ever seen. I used to so severely doubt Creality and other hot end models. This looks nice. Also, the thermistor seems really in there and really sturdy, and there's so many different screw holes and junk. It's definitely made to be an adaptive hot end, adaptive to many circumstances. But those seem to be super glued in. This seems to be pretty much super glued in. Because just get real close to my light here. No, it's screwed in. Okay, so they've used tiny grub screws. Okay, I thought it was just super glued in. Because I accidentally used a super glue in my Chimera, trying to super glue a nut to the front of it while I drilled the hole through, because the metal stripped for holding in the throats. That's nice. I'm out of room. 1 sec. spare parts and junk that I don't need, I think I'm just going to toss in the box for now. Okay. Okay. So we have Anycubic FOC pass. I'll just toss that on the bed. We have an after-sales service card. Oh, nice. Oh, it has a really pretty USB. I like that. Oh, it has an SD card adapter in the sides for normal SD and micro. I have one of these wires already that are old USB style to USB. So that's nice, I guess. This will be nice, I guess. I don't know if this thing has any storage on it or if it needs an SD card, but we'll find out. This thing also comes with all of the standard printer tools we need. A nozzle cleaner. I've never owned a nozzle cleaner before, so that's nice. We have some Allen keys and some wire cutters. A really pretty wood-handled paper. Part of the filament spool holder. Second part of the filament spool holder. I missed. Main cable. If I can open it. I've always sucked with packaging. But this is main PSU cable. Actually, I'll just toss these over there. This is aluminum. They make noises as if they're big, but they're not. I sound like I just absolutely roasted it. Test spool PLA. This is way more than Creality gave me. Creality, you suck. At least as far as giving out test spools. Then we have, I guess this is a spare end stop switch in case any of these break. Looks like it, because everything else seems to have their end stop switches. I mean, maybe if this thing has a built-in, I don't know, filament runout sensor. Oh wait, yes it does. Yes it does, I just never forgot about that. This thing also comes with a filament runout sensor, which is beautiful. By the way, the thing I'm slapping. This is the thing I'm slapping. Yeah, so now comes, oh god, the assembly. So where's the front? Number 1, install the frame. Use these steps to install the base of the frame. Okay, so we have the frame. We pick it up, carry it, hold it like this, line it up with these screws. Use 2 M3 screws to install the filament holder, then loosen the 2 screws on the right side of the frame until the filament holder can be installed. And then tighten those 2. Ah, I see. So you have to take off 2 screws, put on this filament holder, screw in the things. Oh, wait, no, you can just slide in the filament holder. You don't have to take it off all the way. Though for the sake of redesigning it to look more like a Prusa, because what I want to do is later on do a very basic mod that just makes it look like a Prusa. Also, this is glass with those special coatings. Real nice stuff. Real fancy. I'm thinking I'm going to put these clips in different places later. But for now, this is a win. Yeah, so 0 wobble. The wobble we're getting right now is the springs. And those can be replaced with industrial strength springs, obviously. So I guess let's get started, huh? Enough unpackaging and hyping up the printer, right? Get to it. Oh boy. Okay, so this is a little more complicated than I thought, because what you have to do is you have to get this metal bar down here under the printer. We're moving the floor. I don't have enough room. So I'm gonna take a second, move all the packaging out of the way. After sales service, bull crap. I wonder if I even have enough room. This is a big package for a small printer. The Ender 3 package wasn't even this big. Like, that's the thing. This is a printer that came in a sturdy, do not break package. Printer base, instruction kit, and then grab the filament spool holder, tools to assemble the thing. I'm gonna grab the essential parts of the printer. I have a big kilogram roll of red PETG I'll use for the sucker. Filament spool holder screws, filament runout sensor. Hold on. Isn't there a bigger piece for the filament runout sensor? Did I get gypped? I swear there's another piece for the main filament sensor. No, whatever. I'll fuss with it later. Okay. So does this thing even screw on? Okay. So it goes on under here, up. Yeah. Oh, that's a careful fit. Now, what I'm being so elegant about is that's a very thin metal beam, and this is just aluminum. It's not like steel or something like that, where I can just not be worried about it breaking. And it's holding some pretty freaking vital wires that I would very much care about if they got damaged or pinched or bothered in any shape or form. Ah, there's all the screws. Okay, it's in with all the tools. That's good. I was worried for a second. All right, what size are we using for this sucker? I didn't actually read. I'm really bad at this stuff. Oh, it's all standard. That's nice. I love that. Oh, I broke the bag. Oh, there's a spring-loaded piece here. That's neat. Oh, these are titanium. These are either hardened steel or titanium. That's nice. The screws are titanium, I think. Let's lower that down to the printer. There we go. Am I even right? No, I'm not. I'm backwards. That doesn't explain anything, but that explains me as a person. Oh, come on. Yeah, drop all the screws. Let's lose them. Right off the bat. Oh, hey, screen flickered to life. I apologize for giving you a glimpse of hope, printer. You're not going to be happy in this home. Okay, there's more. Yeah. God, I don't even know where the wires are that I need to be conscious of. I'm trying to think of, like, where does everything even plug in? What can of worms did I open? This is a gift, by the way. I think I've already said that, but this printer is a gift. I did not buy this. I can hardly afford to continue with my own printer, let alone manage more than one. But yet here I am, a stubborn motherfucker. I've already sworn once. I no longer care about this stream getting, like, language attacked. It's a stream. I can't, futz over language. Well, you swear once in a stream and it's over, man. Oh, wow. I can't even, like, pull this thing out to check if I'm at the right angle. I just have to line it up and pray. Just because this is a very tight fit, which is good. You don't want the frame to have any wobble or anything like that, but, with Ender 3 design, it's a little ultimately YouTube's privacy policy. We are now 30 minutes into this stream, and I have yet to even get the printer assembled. Oh, I see the filament sensor mount now. Now that my head is against the printer, I can actually physically see the sensor. Okay, so where the hell is the hole? What the How am I just a hair off every time I move? There we go. I move an inch and it comes unaligned. I'm right now trying to align the screw with the hole, but it's not working. Not how I'd like it to, at least. It's on a hard surface, I bet. But I don't have one that has enough freaking. I'd say this is a big printer, but it's not. It's not a super massive printer, especially not for its size, in all honesty. Like, this thing's a small printer. I'll pull my Ender 3 out when I'm done with this, just for a complete size comparison. The Ender 3 right now has a disassembled hot end because I'm doing stuff to it, but yes! Screw number 1 in some. I'm not gonna screw it in all the way, but nice. Okay, next one. I gotta do 4 on each side, but after these are in, it's gonna be way easier. Just because rotating stops existing. You can't rotate when you have 2 points. Well, I mean, you can, but you have to rotate those 2 points. And in this case, it's not possible. I'm not dwelling on physics, don't mind me. Yes, I have my chin on the top of the frame. It's to stop it from moving. You shush. One thing I found really funny with 3D printing is this is a really impressive, cool, but yet we use the simplest of means to manage these things and keep them stable. Like, okay, so a good example is if you own a 3D printer, how do you keep your bed in place? Well, the simple answer is binder clips. You install some freaking binder clips on that bad boy, it holds the bed in real nice and supports multiple sizes of beds. So obviously, nope. This is gonna be fun. I can tell. There's the holes for the screws to slide into are bigger than the screw's width. So there is just enough wiggle room that this has the capacity to be off center. There we go. That's nice. That's real nice. Oh, this looks really nice though. Looking at this printer, I'll do a nice pick up 360 of this thing to show it off because this is something I'm proud of. Okay, so the end stop switch that the printer came with. This thing is definitely a spare. So that's good to know. That's reassuring. But yeah, I now have a 6 hot end that I can do some experiments with, and that's cool. But this does incite a slight fear of if I install this big block of the frame a little off center with wobble to it, that might be an issue. Oh no, I spilled all my screws. Not a big deal. Okay. You got 4 screws each side. Install them. You're good. Oh, dear God. My lights are in just the wrong positions for this job. Ugh. Yeah, because like this, my head is in the way of that. There we go. There we go. Yeah. big issue with big sturdy frames like this. No play to like wiggle the frame around and find the right angle for screws. If you're off by a little bit, it's gonna screw you over. It does tell me that this thing's sturdy and built, and in fact, I can tell that there's a lot of grease they pre-put on here for me on a lot of things like the rods, just feeling the rods, because I did that a little bit, just feeling the linear rods and the lead screws. Those felt, but there's visible grease up here at the top of each lead screw. And that's nice. That's something I don't have to do, and I approve of that when companies do things that I don't need. Well, when companies do things for me that I don't need them to do. Unfortunately, there's no one here in the stream currently. I have live chat on and chat replay on, so what you say can and will be reviewed and held against you, yada, yada. I don't care because there's no one here. Yeah, but I live streamed this video because this is going to be a long haul. You know, this isn't meant to be a short, open, do thing, close video. This is a video that is meant to do a full start on the printer. I'm not going to review this thing. I'm going to give my opinions on it, sure, just from an initial standpoint, but I have no education on this printer right now. I have no idea how this thing is going to print. Hell, I don't even know if this thing's going to work. I mean, I can say I'm pretty sure it will, but can I say it for certain? And that's a no. Also, I just now realized this is not plugged in. This needs to be plugged in here. Oh, it plugs into this. I see. I was wondering where that went. Plug in. Get in there. Little fricker. Bam. Boom. All right, so there should be a big red wire set. A big old set of red wire. And it's currently looks like it's running into the, yeah, that runs under the printer into the U, and that has to do with everything on the right side. I love symmetry. I love it when companies make their things symmetrical. Keeps things easy, makes modding easy. And that's broken. Well, that's not a good start. So the clips, that is an immediate issue. The clips for these break. That's thin plastic. That is going to break easy. Those are going to break. That's going to be an issue. Oof. Yeah, the big plastic clips, the walls of them are, those are going to break easy. At least mine did, and do anything to it. I don't think I did actually. It was bent, and I just gently applied a little pressure to it because it was in the way, and it broke off. So that's nice, but whatever. And then we have one more thing down here. Needs to plug in. I can see it, or I guess feel it right now. There we go, that's in. Okay, so everything's plugged in right now. The big pieces are assembled. We got little dangly wires right here at the side, but not an issue. There's more than enough wire to run the course of the printer, and it's all neatly braided. And this is, of course, wire that you will probably never need to replace. All the wiring that needs to be replaced has been constrained into here and in the motherboard, which is nice. Not enough companies do that. I'm itching a lot because I was in Escondido area, and for some reason, where my Nana is, the family I'm staying with, there's a lot of bugs that are bitey. Spiders in particular. There's lots of spiders at our house, and I don't like spiders, but I will leave them be if they leave me be. And they did not leave me be. But unfortunately, I had to leave them be because I couldn't find any. That was on, by the way. Printer was on, so that means someone probably unplugged the sucker while it was on. That's fun. I don't know, I'm just making nitpicks and various thoughts, stuff. Okay, right off the bat. Those are nice. These are really nice wire cutters. Like, for free from a printer, those are nice. Oh, I love that. Okay, so I've installed this top piece. Next. That's Japanese or whatever. Okay, what? Oh, different sides, different languages. Okay, so next we have use 2 M3s to install the filament holder. These, oh wait, 3 5s. So it's M3 5 mils. Got it. Okay. To install these, and I think that's you guys. Yeah, looks like it. Okay, so I have to install the roller onto the arm, and then install the arm roller piece into the big frame, and it goes on like this or this. I guess in this case there really isn't a wrong way to do it, is there? Probably not, but I assure you, here we find the wrong ways to do everything. I've always found the wrong ways to do things. Okay, so this mounts like this. Yeah, this mounts on here like you. So that means we want you here. Yeah, that's how you fit. Okay, that makes sense. That fits on. Oh god, that's weird. That's wobbly. I don't like wobbly. But I have to have it be wobbly for a second here. I pray that you can't hear my dad in the kitchen right now, because I just heard him ask why in a heavy voice while opening cabinets, and I can only assume he's desperately scrounging? I don't think scrounging is a word. Like, what's the word I'm thinking of? Scourging? I don't know if that's a word either, in all fairness. I don't know. He's desperately searching, hunting for food, foraging. Foraging is a synonym to the word I'm looking for. I probably should have just gone with foraging, in all fairness. But I like to live life in the complicated lane. Okay, so we unscrew these little screws right here, and they hold in the filament holder and this big piece of the frame right here. Funny enough, this big piece of the frame right here can easily be taken off without interfering with anything beyond the filament holder, it would appear. Yeah. It will not affect anything beyond the filament holder and the Z-axis linear rods, which is nice. That is a very nice thing. Okay, so we install this. And I have to kind of force it in there and then screw this wrong direction. Screw this in. All right, move. Can you move out of the way? Yes, it can. Okay, that's way better. Yeah. This is the third printer I have ever bought. The fourth printer I have ever had hands-on use with. Yeah. But I do a lot of 3D design, and I'm currently building 2 other printers. One being a modification of a person named APSU. I still can't pronounce your name. I'm really sorry. But APSU, who has designed the Tripteron, the Deltaron, and is experimenting with a lot of other kinematics and motion studies and very cool designs that, in my opinion, I love and I think can be practical if done right for 3D printing. And this looks like it's way too low to be a good filament spool holder. Like this, no. But whatever, all out. Okay, so that's now in. Oh, that's neat. The filament runout sensor only is held in with one screw and right now can rotate kind of freely. Not an issue, just find it interesting actually, because it can be positioned and it's not like it's not put in there tightly, it's clearly put in tightly. It is very obviously put in, that's upside down. It is very obviously put in pretty tightly into the printer because there's no wobble really here. It just moves around. And the screw doesn't even look like it unscrews when I wobble it. So it's in there, it just moves. Okay, next we have wiring. I accidentally did this bit during the thing. Okay, so then we have platform leveling. So at it's all right. Step 3 is platform leveling, but it's telling you to make sure you have the right voltage, which I haven't yet. Where is that? Where? What? Now, what even is this for? What is this? Okay, so this is just starting a printer, leveling the bed, powering on the machine, home, tools, home Z, pull the leveling paper filament in, tool axes plus 10Z, moving around the printer, place the filament in the holder, note the feeding direction of the filament, straighten the end of the filament, pass through sensor, press on the handle, press the handle on the extruder and insert the filament into the extruder. Let it reach the Teflon tubing. Now wait for the nozzle to reach the target temperature. I never do that. I always just force the filament into the sucker. With printers that have filament runout sensors, it's always recommended that you let them feed themselves. I don't do that, but they can. Yeah. Nozzle reaches temperature. Click filament in. Filament would automatically feed in. Through the nozzle, click stop. You may use the tweezers to clean the filament residue on the nozzle tip. That is actually not the best. You should let it extrude a little bit. Very often they have residual filament in there, and it does look like this hot end was in fact used at one point, but this is very clearly well tuned when it was used because there's no residue on the nozzle. There's just a little black spot on the nozzle tip rather than being slightly angleable see into. Step 1, insert the SD card at the base. The test owl pair G code. Author on Thingiverse has been saved to the SD. Step 2, on the home menu, click print to enter the files list. Click an existing file. Step 3, printer will start printing when temperature reaches target value. Note, temperature of the nozzle will rise after the temperature of the printing platform reaches target value, meaning print bed heats up first, then the nozzle. This is weird. I'm always used to having like an extra, this is where our V slots would be. But in all fairness, that actually doesn't make it take up too much more room because of just the mass of the fan shroud, which I don't disapprove of. It holds a lot of electronics and it leaves a lot of room for various modifications. Where in my Ender's case, I don't have enough room, and I'm actually having my dad use a, not a lathe, a mill of some sort. I'm forgetting what it's called. A Dremel. That's right. He's using a Dremel with a carbide tip to cut into the aluminum and reshape the hot end to fit a Chimera in it. Or not the hot end to fit. It's reshaping the fan shroud to fit a Chimera. There we go. Having a stroke. Sorry. Tension includes moving parts. May cause injury. Anycubic and its accessories out of reach of children. Printer must not be exposed to water or rain. Anycubic 3D printer generates high temperature. Do not reach inside of the printer during operation. Contact with extruded materials may cause burns. It's not that bad. I have done it many times. May cause burns. In case of emergency, please immediately cut off power of Anycubic 3D printer and contact tech support. Yeah. I don't know. Okay. Oh, there's a screw left. That's probably now on the floor, isn't it? Where'd you go? Oh, there it is. There you is. It's amazing how an M5 screw, or yeah, they use an M5, I think. I think so. Install the base of the frame. I think it's funny how they say use 2 N3 5mm screws for the filament holder, but just by pure luck tell you to use these bigger ones for the frame, which, by the way, wobble, that's me moving the physical printer. There's no wobble in the frame here. Oh, that's interesting. So through the camera, it looks blue. That's white to me. That's neat. Just camera stuff. Okay, so let's lower this down a little. This is hooked over. Interesting. Now, is that intentional? I don't know. Let's see. So okay, so that's homing. Now it can move all the way over here. That's a pretty sharp angle for a filament path. I don't think it's meant to be tucked back there. Maybe you're just not meant to print this high up. I don't know, but having right now, okay, so you can't see what I'm messing with, but right now the filament pathway and the wiring is tucked between the rod and the lead screw. And so as it moves all the way over, it pinches everything right up against the frame. And so what I'm trying to figure out is if it's better or worse. Okay, it seems to be just about the same aggressive angles. The filament pathway, this PFTE tube is actually pretty aggressively bent right there to fit the wiring, I think. Yeah, looks like it. Okay, let's toss out all these little baggies it uses. There should be an SD card somewhere with some files that we're meant to be printing with. Also, I feel like this isn't important enough. It's got a wooden handle, and it's angled. And it's freaking sharp, too. But not so sharp that I feel like I can cut myself on it. I can't cut myself on this thing. But it's angled. Both the tip and also the physical thing is actually angled a little. Kind of meant for righties. It's clearly designed for righties, which I think is a little bothersome. My fingers are now covered in grease. I'm gonna be a slug. I can grow up. What do you want to be when you grow up? A slug. Why? Because I'm covered in grease. Del Taco Sprite, not sponsored. Oh god, I inhaled too fast. I know, don't eat or drink on stream, but there's ice in that. That ice is gonna melt. Soda's gonna be awful. I think I'm dying. God, where is it actually? There's an SD card with files in it. I think I'm gonna have to straight up slice my own file for this sucker. I still need to see if the power is selected to the correct thing, but first I want to find the damn SD card that it's meant to come with. Oh, here it is. Oh, thank God. So this thing takes big style SD cards, which is a little unfortunate in most cases because I prefer micro SD. Everyone complains about how flimsy micro SD cards are. They're not that flimsy. What are you doing that breaks micro SD? These things stick out so much from when you plug them in. Oh, I cannot see that. Where's my phone? I need to turn on the flashlight for that. So what I just looked at is the area you're supposed to pick the voltage. Not only is this pretty hidden, okay, so it's currently set to 220. So I need to use, what I'm going to use is just this little tool here. Stick that in there and move that to 110, even though it displays 115 volts instead. I apologize for shining light directly in your eyes. Yeah, okay, so from then, SD card and USB is in the front area, by the way. I don't know why companies make this mistake, but they are in the way heavily of the filament holder. So, clipper or, yeah, see, it sticks out. The SD card sticks out. Yeah, sure, it's bigger, but micro SD doesn't stick out in most of the ports that are made. I don't understand the fuss with it. Yeah, here I am making a fuss over it. Yeah, kind of funny. So with glass plates, you almost never take them off. So I approve deeply of these, what look like steel to titanium clips holding them in. They look like hardened steel. They're a dark metal, and it's clear they're not painted. So that's nice. Though I do disapprove of the fact that it's a threaded screw. Like you can't take a screwdriver and twist into them. At least it doesn't look like it. Are they a grub screw? Oh, they're a grub screw. Okay, that makes more sense. So does that mean if I... Yeah, okay, so if I have the right size of you, I can stick you in here. And take it out, right? Yeah, okay. I'm not going to unscrew it because I don't need to take the bed off, but if I ever needed to take the bed off, that's very good to know because from what it seemed like, I just have to brute force yank these things off. And I hate brute forcing printers. You reserve brute force for when you're mad at the printer and are trying to break it. I also deeply approve of this really smooth filament path. Filament comes from here, rolls down under, up, arching into the filament sensor, and then up into here. Though what's funny is on Amazon, it's actually... Oh, that's weird. Sorry, I'm currently messing with the Bondtech lever right now, and I don't really approve of the wiggle it's got. Not the back and forth, but it wiggles left and right, and I don't like that. But what it listed on the website was filament coming down, curving down, and then up through the sensor and into here. I don't see the need for there to be more than one curve in a filament path. Any more than that, you're causing a little bit of an issue. Now, this Bowden tube could be shortened a little bit. I can clearly see that it can be shortened. So I like that. Oh, that can unscrew easy. Let me just tighten that Bowden tube a little bit over here. There we go. That's better. How much more can that tighten? Or am I just tightening into raw like plastic or something like that? I don't freaking know. There's something weird right now here, but yeah. Look, it's funny. Okay, so these use the same couplers, clearly. One is zip tied using a thin zip tie. The one over here is not. I actually do kind of like that though, because sometimes filament won't go in properly. Like for some reason, the PFTE tube has just a tiny bit of it that's sticking out that stops the filament from going in. Yeah. Now, what I'm trying to figure out is what does this? There's a tiny little screw spring that it has, and it goes to something, but I got no clue what. I'm assuming there's another replacement part because it's clear that there's extra screws here. I remember my dad being really panicked about how there were spare screws when I had my Ender 3. But that just seems to be common with building a printer. There's too many small parts. You're going to lose them. Yeah. Okay, so everything is installed on the printer. This is now the final. This is its final form. Okay, I'm done. Yeah. Okay. Can you reach? Eef. It's iffy, but I can reach. Okay, so we'll have to move even further just to get this thing to plug into an outlet. That's my light. That's my mini AC. Well, it's an evaporative cooler, and I don't even use it, but shush. It's alive. It has a jingle that I don't like. I've never liked it when things have jingles. Oh, what is that? Oh, what just happened? Why did power stop? Oh, that's not in all the way. Okay, that explains it. Okay, so let's just take a look at tools. Let's home. That sounds like a... That's not an A driver. 1 second. It doesn't sound like a DRV. And it doesn't sound like an A4988. Are they A49s? Stepper go out. I ordered 5 DRVs and just replaced them, but now it is moving very slow. Printed it out and only prints half of it near the line X, nowhere near the middle. What am I doing wrong? Inboard, they're all high. The A4988 has 1/16th microstepping. DRV has 1/32nd. And then this high. You are scaling on all your prints 1 to 2. Thank you, STB. Okay, that didn't answer my question at all because this was someone replacing a... Okay, so that kind of answered my question. So this thing is using an A4988. That's not too loud. According to YouTube, that is 1 bar. Me talking is 2. Noise-wise. Now, these motors do not seem fast. And this printer doesn't feel fast right now. I think the bed is level from stock, by the way. No, it's close, though. And I approve of that. I approve big time of beds being level or close to level. When I got my Orange 10, bed was level perfectly. I fucked it up. But when the printer got here, the bed was leveled perfectly. I assembled it, which was a little misleading, but I also tried to do it without instructions. This printer, I followed the instructions to a T to pretty much, which leaves me with a few questions. It's kind of questionable, but I'm allowing this thing to kind of exist right now. But this is now my 3D printer. I currently own 3 3D printers, and only 2 of them are active printers. And one of them is technically not an active printer because I have it down all the time for mods or me fucking up in some way. I tend to do that a lot. Especially with thermistors. I use a lot of those little ceramic diode style thermistors, and apparently those are bad. Okay, so someone originally complained about the fan noise this printer makes. Just idling, this is way better than stock Ender 3. And let me just go back to homing. That's quieter. Well, maybe not quieter. I think it's actually the motor noise is a little louder. But it's more enjoyable to listen to than the stock Ender 3. I do have to say that. Okay, so we have cooling. Oh, That's just cool down for Marlin. Axes. Moving the axes in various directions and positive to negatives through very, very strange menus. Weird. All right, let's actually just home all. Oh, that's nice. Oh, I think I love this machine. And so what's nice about this board is while it is a standard, like really micro board, you know, limited stepper drivers for what it's used for, the drivers are replaceable. Only DRV slash step modes enabled or available, but I do have a 2208 that I can use. And I also have a few other A drivers, and I think 120, 130 that's in step slash dir mode. And the steppers are apparently very high current because they physically move. Filament. Temp 22 out of 0. Filament in. Filament remove. Various homing stuff. Just looking at the menus. TP. Oh no, this is display calibration. I've never been good at that stuff. All right, so we have owl. Tools. Okay, back to tools. I'm just going to be looking at various things. All work will be stopped. Okay, so that's a reset button. All right, setup. Oh, that's neat. Okay, so you can turn off the steppers, set individual temperatures. Current hot end is 23, the bed is at 22. I think the readings are just a little off, but that's okay. Status. Files, printing rate 100%, time 0, progress 0, temperatures. According to X, it's 5 millimeters away. That's interesting. Well, that does make sense. The nozzle does not seem to be exactly on point with the bed. Speed. Fan speed. Current. So the current fan speed is 1%. The printing rate. That took a while. I set the fan down to 0. And now the thing's just quiet. Okay, so tapping anywhere on the display gives a tiny little... I hate that noise. But I will allow it. So I'm not entirely sure what the speed is controlling. There's a print rate controller and there's a fan speed controller. And it currently says 1% fan speed, I think. Even though I have it set to 0. Okay, so you can set it, print rate 100, and then there's current. And I don't understand what the difference is between current and what I'm adjusting. Oh, okay. So if I open up speed and set you up a bunch, fan speed to 50, and hit OK. That's the hot end fan at 50% speed. Oh, no, that's the part cooler. The hot end fan, I guess, only kicks on when the hot end is heating up. I don't think I can forcibly turn that on. So let me turn that down. Status. No, that's all standard stuff. Oh no, switching between, I think that's Chinese? I don't know. The symbol looks like a hammer, sort of. Tell me in the comments. I know we're an hour and 10 minutes into this, but I think this is pretty fast compared to a lot of videos that I've seen of unboxing printers. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to start a print here. I'm going to move the printer to some sort of a cabinet in a bit. But first, I don't know. First, I'm going to enjoy this printer for a little bit. Oh, that's interesting. So technically, I don't actually have full build space. Because even after I home it all the way, and even at the very limits, nozzle never leaves the bed. That I see is not okay. The range of the nozzle might be 210, but the build plate size, glass build plate, is the exact same as the ender. The only reason I can approve of getting a printer that's smaller in my ender is because the mass of the printer is smaller. If the bed is the same size, being 210 or being 220, yet the move space is 210, then I don't approve of that. I love this printer. I have to say, this printer is very clearly well designed. It's sturdy. It's very strong looking. And I love this thing so much. But I just cannot say that I like that at all. The fact that right now the nozzle is pushed all the way over and it doesn't even reach the clip. 0, 0 on this printer is 5 millimeters, maybe 10 in. And I don't like that. I don't approve of that. I cannot say that I like that. Ugh. That grosses me a little. I love the printer, so I'm not going to say that that ruins it, but I will say that that just ever so slightly culled my excitement for a little bit right now. But, like, there's tons to this printer to love. I 100%, without even printing with this thing, can say I recommend it. Compared to the Ender 3, okay, so the Ender 3 I think is good if you want a print farm and also a starter printer. You buy a whole bunch of them for a print farm and you run them. I also saw that there was a person here. And so the Ender 3 is a good printer if you want to be a starter. There's too many things that you have to fix on that thing, though. There's just way too much that you have to do for that thing. This printer is including some of the mods that took me a lot of money. It took me $50 to get Dual Z. Linear rails on the Ender 3 are close to $100 for the mod. It's expensive. On this thing, it comes with linear rods, which, while being a little louder, are way nicer than the V slots. They're more reliable. They don't wear out the same way that V rollers do. They're better. It's a much better printer. But yeah, so I can 100% recommend this printer because it comes at a similar price that the Ender 3 started at. I bought this thing for $230 because it had a discount coupon going from it was for $250. Sorry, the printer was $250 because it was $280 with a $30 coupon. So it is a little bit more expensive than the Ender 3. But for the sake of reliability, I know you can get really, really good prints on the Ender 3, really clean prints without modding it. But so much stability is at risk with the Ender 3 that this thing covers up for. We have a Bondtech, a knockoff probably, Bondtech extruder. We have a V6 hot end, which is tried and true engineering. We have a replaceable stepper motor. We have a replaceable stepper driver board. We have crimped wiring, meaning that We have this long set of wiring, and then we enter these little zones where it breaks off into pieces, meaning that we only have 3 big wires leading in the board rather than hundreds of them. It's cleaner. Sturdy rods, dual Z, beautiful carriage here. It comes with the touchscreen. I'm not fond of this touchscreen. I've never been fond of touchscreens on printers, and only think that they're useful as a microcontroller sometimes. So I will say that this isn't my taste, but I know that there are people who love touchscreens on printers. I like the 128/64 emulator touchscreens because they are nice because they give you the microcontroller tools plus being able to go back to the original Marlin style displays. I use Marlin. I'm going to swap to Clipper eventually. I really wish that this branding was stickers, though. I will say that much. But in all fairness, on Amazon, this printer looked incredibly factory design. This printer looked super, like, factorized, I could say. The branding, the blue colors, it all felt just so possessive of a company for something. But it actually is way nicer looking in person. I don't like the display. That makes me feel branded, and I hate branding in printers because I like making it my own thing. I now call my Ender 3 the Ender Snowflake a lot of the times because it is so heavily modded that it is pretty much my own thing. And some of those mods were designed by me, and I'm proud of that. Very. Yeah. Oh, you can actually easily remove these rods too. That's nice. This printer is really nicely designed that everything could be taken apart. These mounts here, you can take out the rods easily. It's so nice. My only drawback so far has been the fact that the print volume could be, at least in X and Y, the same as the Ender 3. And that means that only this piece here is limiting our height. Meaning, I could make this thing's clearly smaller than the Ender 3. I could make this thing better than the Ender 3 and smaller, which I love. Also, right now, dead silent. There's apparently a power source unit fan somewhere there, but I can't hear it. I hear my computer fan whirring, but I don't hear the printer. Now, let me just show you this. Oh, I don't have a light bar in there anymore. 1 second for me to get my phone and turn on my flashlight for it. Here it is. Okay, so I'm going to show the mess that is my Ender 3 right now. Call this machine goer, I don't care. The carriage disassembled. This is a direct drive carriage with the Chimera hot end drilled into it. Messy wires, tons of wires. Bulky build plate. Doesn't come with proper bed clips. Belts need to be tensioned really specifically, and for some reason I've had an issue with unevenly tensions. Doesn't come with dual Z. I had to install dual Z, and in fact I had to create a hard end stop here. I do have dual color. Up at the top you can see I've got 2 filament spools, so that's nice. I have an SKR board in here. Makes the thing quiet. The drivers are dead silent. I do have to say the motors are quiet when they move. But right now, the fans on this printer, especially the power source unit, are so unbearably loud. I cannot stand it. I mean, obviously, I have the thing in a cabinet, and it's pretty quiet, so I don't hear it. But when I'm working on it and operating with it, it's loud. So I'm not going to pull that thing out of the cabinet. I might do a side-by-side later when I have that printer running properly. I'll do a side-by-side, and I'm actually probably going to move them all back in the closet and set them on top of my dresser until I have my 4th printer. Then I'm going to move it up to the top area of my closet where they're all set up. But I do want them all on top of my dresser that's in there so I can kind of display them, because I think that'll be fun. and it'll be easy to take pictures with them and also run a proper print farm. I'll probably have the resin printer between these two things. Yeah. That's metal. That's beautiful. This is sheet metal. It's obviously not steel, but this is a rigid frame that, rather than relying off of V-slots, uses angles and keeps itself very sturdy, despite being thin. And this is a beautiful example about how you don't need thick aluminum pieces to make a sturdy frame. I know I'm really harping on how good this printer is, but understand this is a 3D printer that comes to all these features for $250 to $280, depending on where you're getting it. And that's Amazon, and Amazon prices unfairly. So just think about that. This is a printer for so cheap that's very clearly well engineered. And it's in a Prusa form factor, meaning that so many mods are available. I already have so many mods in mind, and this thing has just showed up. Purely because looking for Ender 3 mods, I found Prusa mods. And this thing fits the form factor of a Prusa, I'm pretty sure. Utilizing your standard 8mm rods, 8mm lead screws, belts, and they're all in the same dimensions. It's all in the same configuration, with the exception, I think this is backwards versus a Prusa. I'm not sure about that. Don't call me out on that. But I'm really pleased with this thing's design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a quiet home for this thing. I might just slap it in the resin printer's space, and then I'm going to start a print. Not tomorrow, because I'm going to spend a few days with a friend of mine tomorrow. Sleep over and stuff. But probably a week from now, I will do a second look into this printer and show off whatever prints that I may have done that time. I probably will be out of this test filament by then, obviously. But that's not an issue on this printer because it has a filament runout sensor. Oh, that's shiny. I don't know if this picks up, but this is silk PLA, I'm pretty sure. This has got to be silk PLA. And this is so much of it. Yeah, 1.75mm silk white PLA. It's got to be. It's so shiny. This thing is glimmering. I know that's not like a sell point on the printer. Don't get the printer just because of the filament. That's dumb. But it looks nice. Okay, let's see if I know how to feed into a filament sensor that I've never used before. I do not. I'm feeding into the direction it asks me to, but I just can't seem to do it. I just can't make it happen. Look. Yes, I'm aware. Lack of filament or filament monitoring. There we go. Okay. So it just takes a little bit of effort. I think it's a little scrappy. So I don't think the filament sensor is the best designed. I think that might need work, just purely by me pushing filament into it. That's an assumption that I can easily make here, right off the bat. This thing is really bad for test rolls of filament. This is not working here. Yeah. Oh, that's weird. Oh, stop bending so much, please. I'm just going to keep feeding until I have... Here we go. Okay, filament's all the way in. Yeah. So I now have a complete printer. This thing, after leveling the bed, is ready to go, I think. I might be missing a step. I don't know. But it would appear that my printer is ready at 1 hour and 25. The printer is ready. And I am very pleased with this machine. It's easy to put together, easier than the Ender 3. I remember assembling the Ender 3, and that was like 2.5 hours of building. Orange 10, 30 minutes after I figured everything out, without instructions, by the way. This thing took like 45 minutes to build, in all fairness. A lot of that time was spent with me harping on it and screwing around. I will say, not being able to tension these bothers me a little bit, but they seem to come pre-tensioned pretty well. I can strum them like guitar strings. So I approve of that. And just for the sake of moving, it's not too loud. That was 2 bars according to YouTube. And I'm currently 1 bar. I have no clue what the sound is to YouTube right now. I have no clue. But this thing's actually not as loud as I figured. And I like that. I approve of that deeply. And so now, turn off all the steppers. Lack of filament. What? What do you mean lack of filament? There's friggin'... You suck. There's so filament in there. It's a 2-wire end stop. I don't know. I don't know why it's giving me that signal, but I don't like you. I don't like you. There's so filament in there. You have no idea. There's so... I don't know why I'm saying that like this, but there's filament in there. So it only seems to make a lot of noise when I move it. I think that's just to keep the drivers cool. The board doesn't generate any heat, despite being a 32-bit board, by the way. This thing has 32-bit printing, replaceable drivers, though it only does support step and dur mode. So I am definitely going to upgrade this thing to an SKR 1.4, or maybe this will be my very first, trying to think, FISEC F6, or S6. The F6 is the one that uses a Arduino chip, and I don't condone that for 3D print. Okay, so it says lack of filament. Why? Print. Yeah, okay, let's stop. Okay. Bed heated up to 24, by the way, in like 2 seconds. That was nice. I mean, it's not like a big deal to heat up 2 degrees, but in the span of me screwing around, it heated up a little bit. And that's neat. I still don't know why it says, oh, it says bed heating done now. That's funny. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the printer, move it back up to the desk, and actually I'm going to turn it off and find a space for it, really. Okay. So we have a pretty good bit of mass that we have to work with here. And I need to find a place to fit it, both in depth Because biggest issue with these bed flinger printers is they've got depth. They're long printers. They're way bigger than semi-Core XY and Core XYs. I will say, despite breaking, cable over here is okay. Yeah, so the only two issues I've had so far was one of the cable clips broke a little bit, not a catastrophic failure. And as far as design goes, the nozzle not having full access to the whole bed. That upsets me so deeply. You have no clue how much I fight for the littlest bit of print space when I'm slicing and stuff like that. Because I like to do multi-print stuff. I do rep wrap. I'm trying to 3D print printers as much as I can, with this high percentage of printed parts. And not having a big build plate is going to make my designing of these printers way harder. I have my Ender 3, so thankfully it does have a bigger build plate. But in my case, seeing the fact that this could have had more build space, yet doesn't, hurts. That bothers me. I'm not going to say that makes this thing, a bad printer. I'm just going to say that makes this printer, that is a design that I don't agree with. And it's clear that it's an intentional design due to the fact that it does line up with the bed clips and also the fact that the end stop switch sticks out in such a way that the nozzle physically cannot touch close to these. See, it's homed, and the nozzle, in a printer, I'd be able to ram the nozzle into the bed holders. I do it all the time with the binder clips. The nozzle just pushes them out of the way and I have to put them on again. In this case, that's not going to happen. What's going to instead happen is nothing. And you're now missing 10 millimeters of print space. That stings a little bit. I love this printer. I just don't approve of that design. But otherwise, it's good. And now let's find a cabinet for it. So I'm actually going to try, first off, moving my resin printer out of here. I still have a print on this thing too, which is funny. I'm just really lazy with this printer. I don't take prints out of it. I don't even print with this thing much because of how expensive resin is. That's why I focus so hard on FDM printing. Now let's see if this thing will fit in the cabinet. I don't think so. Oh, you're so heavy. Oh, you're a big boy, big printer. Oh, it's not going to fit at all. Well, that's not good. It's probably not going to fit there either. So this thing is both too wide and too deep, I think, for the cabinet I was going to set it in. So let's put my orange 10 back in the cabinet. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but right now I'm moving printers around. That's what's happening here. And trying desperately not to spill semi-toxic resin all over my room. Because that's not good. You know what you consider bad juice? That's bad juice. I'm babbling because I'm lifting heavy objects. And I don't handle that well. Eesh. Alright, move the main piece of this block up here. I know I'm off camera and that's annoying, but just bear with me a little bit. What if that's an encoded message and there's actually currently a bear with me holding me at gunpoint and I'm trying to hide the fact that there's a bear holding me at gunpoint. Bear with me now. Okay. Sorry, that's a dead meme probably. Or not even a meme, but it's a joke I like. Back to good old 0. So it doesn't seem like there's any cabinets I can set this printer in, unfortunately. So I don't have any space for it. There we go. I have a cabinet that always knocks down my cork board sheet that I have. Yeah. So I'm going to lift this printer back on top of the counter that you saw. I'm going to start the print, but I'm not going to actually let it finish because I want to sleep. And I need to be sure that my pet lizard is also able to sleep. Because she is light sensitive. And lizards are also pretty sensitive to vibrations. And I don't want to cause her any stress through getting a new printer. But it does seem like I'm going to have to move this thing into the closet, which is sad. You can make all the closeted, come out of the closet jokes you want. I understand people are not always mature. Okay. So look at the printer. So I am going to reuse this sheet that they said I could for leveling the bed. Tear the tape off of it. And I always use cardstock because I always level it too low. So that is a thing to think of. So tools. Yeah, its homing position is really far in. I don't approve. So, yeah. Okay, so I actually level mostly by sight, though. That's lower. That's higher. Yeah. Okay. That's pretty close. Okay. Y is way quieter. I can promise you this thing was not level from factory. But the screws seem to be fairly easy to twist. So I approve of that. I approve of that a lot. So my goal with this printer is don't ruin the son of a bitch. Specifically the bed. I have had 2 glass plate beds, and all of them have been scratched to hell. Every time I ever had them. Okay, that's pretty close to level. Yep. Okay, so now we print, owl pair, print. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm pretty much just gonna sit here and relax. I also forgot to send this to a friend of mine who I wanted to show the stream off to when it happened, but I never did. So let me just do that while I'm sitting here. God, I have in my thumbnail looks possessed. Eesh. Yeah. Bed temp, 45 degrees. Yeah, it feels like 45 degrees. Hot end temp, 44 because it's, or 24 because it's heating up a little from the bed. God. Why must Discord lag so? Yes, quite. Hot end temp, 200. Bed has hit 60 degrees. We need some PID tuning on this bad boy. It's going up to 61, down to 60, down to 59. Oh, I understand what people meant by it's loud. Oh my God, that's loud. Sounds like a freaking airplane is taking off. Do I have any fans to replace that? Oh, no, I don't. Oh, that sucks. That sucks for me so bad. Oh, whatever. Oh. I mean, according to YouTube, it's still 1 bar of noise. Both me and the fan together breach 3, though. So that's fun. Walking with my hand makes it better. But I know that it needs to stay pretty toasty. Or it needs to stay well cooled. It's pushing air, though. It's hauling ass. Okay, it's about to start. 197. The bed is now... Oh, that's nice. Yes. 198 out of 200. So I'm just going to take a photo of this printer before we start for my buddies. There we go. Okay, so it's a little too low, it looks. I think I have it leveled just a hair too low, so I'm actually gonna do some live tuning here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it be and let it go. I'm definitely gonna put a muffler on that sucker. Oh my god. Oh, it's so loud. Yeah, so I did not expect it to be this loud. I heard the printer was loud, but this is asinine. Out of just pure curiosity, let's go to speed. And set it to 25%. I might regret this. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I'm gonna lower you. Oh, no. I'm gonna lower it down back to 100. But let me tell you, this thing's hauling ass. Oh god. Yeah, but this is loud. It's clean. It's running really nicely, and somehow the printer is tuned perfectly to the filament that comes with it. And the extruder is oh so clearly yanking this really constrained looking filament path. But it works. Yeah, I know, Rhoda. It's loud. It's really loud. I know I could technically put this where my Ender 3 is, but I don't feel like doing that. I'm thinking I might just straight up stay awake until this thing's done. Because I don't want to waste the filament, obviously. And this thing is so loud, I'm not even going to test the theory of sleeping with it. My only hopes of getting some pieces, this. Just making you shut up a little bit, please. Because for the love of Jehovah's. Like, I love this printer. I have to say, this is one of the best engineered printers I've ever used. And I've used a few of them. But oh my god, it's loud. I don't remember if my Ender 3 was this loud back when I had stock fans, but I know for a fact this thing is loud now. And honestly, the motors don't sound that bad. And I was right earlier when I said that I wouldn't be able to hear the linear bearings sliding. I can't hear them, that's for sure. It's loud. So that's three issues I have with this printer. Cable clip broke a little bit. The nozzle doesn't touch all corners of the bed all the way, meaning you could have had bigger build space. Anycubic, you missed that a little bit. And also, it's loud. Still 1 bar to YouTube, though. Me talking turns it to 3. Dear God, yeah, no. I have to cover this. Just censor that mess. But, like, our top surfaces right now, not infill yet, look pretty clean. Yeah, they look really nice, actually. A little over extruded. That's my only qualm right here. Is the left one, the left owl shows over extrusion. The right one doesn't even look over extruded. The right one looks so nice. Yeah, they're on the same layer, and the right one just looks clean. Yeah, my poor lizard right here next to me is probably wondering what the hell that noise is. Though I will say, no noise is coming from the vibrations. My Ender 3's frame is a little warped, so it moving around will vibrate the printer and make a slight thunk. So that's nice. But yeah, this is the Anycubic Mega S. Really nice printer overall. It has a beautiful design based off of an i3. Most mods that you have with a Pruso will work on this printer. It has a few design flaws that was clearly intentional, having to do with the end stops here being just a little too close to the bed for my liking, and a physical end stop over here actually that stops the nozzle too. So that physically limited the print volume to 210 compared to the 220 that this bed actually is. Then broken cable clip and noise. Those are 3 issues, all of which are easily resolved. Noise, only this fan. No other fan is making this level of noise. And yeah, it's a nice printer. It's well engineered. And what I thought was going to be an issue for noise turned out it wasn't, because something else overcompensated. I love the smell of burnt plastic. Yeah, having my face right in against this printer is not good for my health, but yeah, but this is clearly silk PLA. Looking at a slightly more done print, it is definitely silk. Yeah, I'm seeing ghosting. That's unfortunate. That's real unfortunate. But I'm gonna let this go. We're 3% in. So let's just see. What does 200 look like? Oh, that's fast. The extruder can handle it, it looks like. But I'm watching for skipping steps and stuff. No warping, by the way. So it's a good bed. Good bed platform. Yeah, absolutely going too fast now. And let's have the other fan turn on here. Yeah, so print rate is now down to 150. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, I thought so. This is too fast. So 100% is definitely what this thing wants. Okay, print rate down to 100%. Bed temp is at 660. Hot end temp has not budged at all, I've noticed. Time, we're 15 minutes into the print. Yeah. Yeah. So what I noticed when I sped it up a bunch was the infill started to get patchy. And so that told me that it was printing too fast. So what I did is I just slowed it back down to 100% because I was just out of curiosity, bumped it up to 200 just to see if it would actually print. And it seemed like maybe if I tested a little bit, like the Bondtech extruder might need some tightening. I need to experiment with how those work first. I think my first plan of action, moving this into a silent area. Moving my Ender 3 into the closet. Orange 10 into the closet. This thing stays into the cabinet until I get replacement drivers and a replacement fan. Because, oh my god. Also, I just now learned that the tag that says Anycubic on the left and the S sticker, it's a sticker. I thought this was like a sheet of aluminum, but it's just a really, really thick sticker. It's a thicker. That was a horrible joke. Thanks, me. I know. Far too easily I can be proud of myself. I need to have my pride properly crushed. Yeah. So I'm not actually. So what I thought was ghosting earlier is just detail. I have no clue what it's gonna look like. I don't. The display. Let me show you what I'm seeing here. The display gives no information on the print beyond our percentage, and the print just looks like a pedestal, sort of. So what the end product is gonna look like, I don't know, but I might have to pause this thing for the night just because that's a noise. And that's a noise I'm not putting up with. You guys, I don't know why, but the camera actually lets you see into here. I can't see a whiteness through here. That just looks like black. So that's neat. I might actually just put my Ender 3 board fan into this thing and just really shorten the wires. That would work, wouldn't it? It's a 40-40 by 10 fan. It's a 40-10 fan, so I probably could do that. Just to shut this thing up. Oh, yeah. Oh, one of my ears are ringing. Like, I know that it probably doesn't sound that loud to you guys, but being right here, this is not a bedroom printer right now. Rhoda doesn't seem bothered, though. So while that's going, I'm going to take a look at our V6 here. So I personally, I both love and hate the V6 design. It's a big hot end compared to what I started with. So there's that. It's top mounted, meaning it can swivel. That's nice. It's a coupler, so it's a lot of what I'm used to. It has an incredibly adaptive looking set of a heat cartridge and thermistor, both of which are right now held in with screws, meaning this sucker's sturdy. And I like that, because I've always had the issue of thermistors breaking on me. That's a very common thing for me because I use the tiny little ceramic diodes. I think they're called diodes. I could be wrong. Yeah. Oh, I just now realized an issue with replacing that fan. It uses a special type of connector that no fan I've ever owned has. And that's going to be a problem. Yeah. So this is definitely a very loud printer. And so with A4988 drivers, some noise was expected here. This level of noise was not. But the noise is not from the drivers, funny enough. Which is what I expected. I've been using TMC 2130s for my main drivers, which are silent drivers. They're quiet as all hell. Yeah, definitely a little bit of over extrusion, but it looks good. Yeah, so the only mods that I can consciously think of would be new display, new board, silent. Both the drivers and this fan. Every other fan on the printer is dead quiet. And I don't know why other people have complained about it. Apparently the PSU fan is super loud. My Ender 3 fan dwarfs this thing. But that is by far the loudest noise I've heard come from a printer. It's loud. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this. I know I keep talking how, this printer's so loud, the printer's so loud. It is loud. And it hurts my head a little bit. And I'm half expecting my parents to come busting in here or something like that, asking what the hell happened. Okay, I understand the print. So what I thought was ghosting appears to be detail of a pedestal, and then we have feet. This is silk. This is definitely silk PLA. It is so shiny. And what I think I assumed to be over extrusion, I think just turned out to be log details. I don't know, it's really hard to tell. I do have to say the layer lines are invisible, to put it simply. They're damn near unnoticeable. So this is definitely going to be a fun printer to use. Now, I'm glad this thing came with another V6, because now I'm not going to do this soon, but for a dual color, I want to use a switching extruder. I desperately want to try not a switching extruder, a parking extruder, because I've seen them and it's so cool. And I actually have a fun concept I'm mini working on, which is a cross between IDEX and parking extruder. And I think it'll be fun. Yeah. Just gonna leave that open-ended, think of it what you will. In fact, I'm open to suggestions just because it's a unique idea. But it'll be triple extrusion with 2 independent moving hot ends with the option of switching colors out. And trading one is my current idea, is you have one hot end in the middle. I'm spoiling this now, but you have one hot end in the middle, 2 movers basically, and 2 hot ends on the far sides. Movers pick up one hot end, do its thing, let it go, move to the middle, do its thing, and then you have your left one. This will mean that the hot ends do have a lot more independent work they'll have to do. That means if 2 hot ends need the middle color, there's going to be a pause in printing. So that'll be something I have to figure out. But it's just a concept idea. It's just a theory, a game theory. Yeah. But it's just an idea that I have running right now. Also, I'm trying, because I'm bored, I'm trying to unscrew this thing. It's not happening. But this thing seems to actually be an MK10 or MK8 style throat rather than a screw-in type, just judging by the fact that there's 2 screw holes right there. So, I don't know. This thing might be a standard like V6 design, but also that's a coupler up at the top that you don't see usually. Usually if there is a built-in coupler like in this little metal area here. So I will say it's definitely cheaped out a little on the hot end. It's not an issue. It's printing fine. And a lot of people think you need a beautiful, perfect hot end. You really don't. This is from stock printing. I mean, I know naturally stock printers are always really good. Yeah. Jesus. Ugh. It is so loud. Also, the hot end temp has not budged at all. The bed temp floats up and down by a degree a little bit. It's not a big thing, but it's just something that I've noticed because I've been doing, I was screwing around with PID tuning on my Ender 3 because I have a heat cartridge that's giving me grief. I just find it interesting screwing around with that. So this thing could use PID tuning for the bed, but very, very minor. The left side of the prints is not curling up, but the right side is. Definitely needs a fan shroud mod, like the air passageway mod thing. I don't know what you'd call it, but we need a full encompasser thing that everyone designs for the Ender 3. Yeah, this is a good test, honestly, as far as printing goes, because printing two parts isn't always easy for printers. Because when you print that first layer, I've always considered there's a semi-official countdown before that layer is going to be bad. A print, by the time you hit the second layer, the print is a little bit more solidified. In my opinion, if a print hasn't failed by the fifth layer, or even the third layer, it's probably going to work. Unless there's some mechanical flaw that, your extruder's really crappily set up. So it's going to work for a while until the hot end encounters a lot of resistance, aka the pressure is fully built up. And it looks really nice, and the layer lines are hardly noticeable, and we're 25% in at 30 minutes. So that means that this print should take approximately 30 times 4, 2 hours. This is a 2-hour long print. Not bad, but I don't think we're gonna sit here for another 2 hours just having this print. That's not happening. So I'm gonna sit here a little longer and relax. But after a bit, I'm gonna pause this thing and have this thing do a power outage protocol while I move the printer down there and move the ender up there, or back there. Or maybe I'll just slap it up on this desk. I'm not sure. Yeah, but yeah, that's actually what I'm going to do. I'll move the Ender 3 up onto this desk so I can work on it and get it working. And I'll move this thing down to that cabinet because it's so loud. I know I absolutely sound like I'm exaggerating the noise this printer makes, but printers don't usually make this noise. That sounds like an airplane, like the jet of an airplane right now. Like, ugh. I mean, it's doing its job. It feels cool up there, right up against the hot end. So that's good. But it's freaking loud. Let me do a test real quick. Let me see. Can I hear this from outside my room? I'm gonna get it. Okay. So it's loud to the point where I can hear it through my door. But if I go all the way to the other side of the house, it's okay. And in fact, right up until I get up against the door, I can't hear it. So it's loud, but it's not super bad. And I also think that I am slowly getting used to it. But it's currently 11 o'clock at night, so I'm going to let this go for just a little longer, and then I think I'm going to sleep. Just because it's kind of late. And I physically cannot with this thing's noise. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of how forced my smile looks. But I'm just having fun right now looking at the V6 and wondering. Because there's a V7 that's in beta testing. People have access to the V7. Very, very few, though. I'm willing to bet if you pay like $10,000, you could probably get someone who betrayed the beta testing and sold their product. But the V7, it exists. There's beta testing of it. And apparently it fits the V6 mounts, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. But it's only been sent to people who applied for it, and it's now, I think, like 6 months too late to apply for it. This isn't exactly a new concept. You know, the V6 isn't exactly a brand new, beta testing option. It's been around a little bit. It's just, well, often with beta testing, it's kind of quiet until you talk to the people who are beta testing it. I know someone who is beta testing it. Yeah. So this thing's loud. But I think yeah, 36% at 36 minutes. I don't understand this thing's reading of how much it's done. Because according to that, then it should take 100 minutes. And now it's 37. I think it's actually finishing faster than time passes. We'll see. We'll see on that. Because then I might actually finish this print, and it looks closer to 50% done, if I'm honest. It's 2 hours. I don't know. Can this be picked up at all? Any detail from these guys? I don't know. But yeah, this is what's happening with the Anycubic Mega S. It's loud. It's real loud. Yeah, so what I'm probably gonna have to do is, until I get a fan that fits the connector for this thing, I'm probably gonna have to get a silencer for this thing. Or just suck it up and not print when I'm here. But I will say the motors make exactly as much noise as the A4988s do on the Ender 3. These sliding bearings don't make any more noise. I don't fully understand how sliding bearings work, how you can have something that's physically sliding across another object, yet it doesn't make any noise. I mean, like, I understand that's a super smooth beam, but smoothness only works to a point. Then again, the Mega, or not the Mega, the M Prime 1 that I'm building has 3D printed beams and linear bearings. And when I move it around, it's not that loud, actually. There's a slight slidey friction noise. There's not much, though. Honestly, this is a clean-cut PFTE, though. It's perfectly flat at the top. It's beautiful. They put effort into this. That's very clear to me. Yeah. Being that I run a print farm and I target high quality prints mostly, I don't think I'll ever use a volcano. I know this is irrelevant, but I'm just now thinking this thing would be pretty ideal to test a volcano on. I'm stocked with a V6. But I think if I'm ever going to mod the hot end, it's going to be with a dragon, a dragonfly, or a mosquito. Or a red lizard. But that, I think, is more useful for like Creality printers in all fairness. Because it's just a dragon in the Creality hot end form. I guess you could argue that it's close to the mosquito, but I think that's close to the dragon, just due to the fact that the mosquito has a more porous sides, while the dragon is based around being an open cut in the middle and kind of like ripply and cool. I like the dragon hot end as well. That's just a big piece of it. But yeah, so I'm thinking for this thing, I'm probably going to do a dragonfly or a dragon hot end, and I'm not sure which one I want. Because the dragon holds the heat block in place, which I like. I like that. I do want to say, the 3D V6, the V6 hot end, can twist around in position. So someone had to put real effort into making the V6 perfectly square with the rest of the heat shroud, the fan shroud. And I applaud you, sir, ma'am, whatever you happen to be, because that took determination that makes someone's job feel pointless. But I can assure you, person who did this for me, I notice your work. But yes, someone had to make sure PFTE was perfectly square. The simple jobs that just, yeah, sure, they take a few seconds, but there's so many of that in this printer. There's so many of those simple jobs that they put up with into making sure this thing was ready and fit for you. These things are thoroughly greased. The Ender 3, I remember being able to squeeze onto these, the lead screws. I was able to just grab on the lead screws and I felt no oiliness. There was nothing but friction. This thing, my hands are now covered in grease. It's unpleasant, but it tells me it's a sign. The leveling knobs are a hair smaller. They're actually quite a bit smaller than what I expected them to be. In the Amazon image, they were the same size as the Ender 3's leveling knobs. And there exists fittings to put on them. And I think I might print those out. At least for the back ones. Because I have to reach those sometimes. And they're always frustrating to level. It's never easy to level the back of the bed just because you have to reach back there, and I always worry about bumping that with my hand. And now I have an SD card that's right there that I might bump. Yeah. But yeah, I have a USB stick that I more than certainly appreciate, though. My computer only has USB, so I have to put an adapter in the adapter, which is funny, but whatever. Yeah. But I do think I might just straight up move all of my printers onto my dresser. Yeah. There's also no stringing between the two owls. I see a singular, almost invisible wisp. Now, my eyes are really bad, given my hair is in them all the time. But this looks clean. And I mean, it could be the Silk PLA, and it could be the PLA fumes in my eyes, but the layer lines look nice. There's almost no stringing, and it just looks nice. I know with test prints always look better than the official print that you'll make. I know that. But god damn, is this nice. I still do wonder what this is over here to the far left and right that I can screw in that's attached to a spring. The far left one, oh, I bet that's probably to make sure these two are perfectly square. I bet that's it. Yeah, it looks like it actually. If I screw this in, it'll probably lower that down and push it closer to the end stop. But right now, Z looks perfectly level. I do have to say the x-axis end stop looks just a little bent, but that's about all. I want to know who's been watching this the whole time, pretty much popping in and out. I want to know who put up with this silently. We have a live chat. It's funny. We're 52% done at 46 minutes. I think I'm going to finish the print in this live stream. Yeah. Oh, okay. The camera made it look like there was something solid here, but no, I can stick my finger straight under there. But I was able to put it simply, I was able to level the bed quickly, assemble the printer quickly, and in 2.5 hours, well, in about 2 hours, I got a print running. Yeah, a little less than that, I got a print running from the time I started the stream. Someone do a timer of how long it took for me to actually, from the time I opened the box and got everything out and took it seriously, how long it took for me to start the print. Because that really tells me either how dumb am I or how well designed the printer is. In that dumb me could get this thing together. I've always wondered with these double adapters, if you stuck big SD card in the side, small SD in the side, in the back, where it has 2 ports for it, would it give you access to both or only one? And I want to know this badly. I don't know what layer height this is sliced at, but it's gotta be low because I don't see layer lines right now. I'm not saying it looks injection molded. I have to say very, very few 3D prints without after messing with will ever look injection molded. But it's clean. It could be the silk PLA. I still don't think so. But I cannot deny this is clean. This is also the freshest I've ever used filament. Every time I've ever used filament, it has always been open for a while. Like it's a PETG that's been open for like a month now. time that I use, and I don't dry my filament. I don't ever dry my filament. And I've never had an issue with actually wet filament. That's never been the problem. A lot of the time it was the brand, the tuning, the printer construction itself. My construction of the printer, I mean. Yeah. But currently I only have this and 2 rolls of filament. And I have a dual color printer and this thing. So we might have a problem. I do need to say it's really refreshing to see a non-scratched glass bed. I have abused my glass bed to the point where I probably shouldn't own a printer for the sake of mine and its health. Mm. 59% at 60% at 51 minutes. So this will absolutely finish before the 2-hour mark. I'm willing to bet probably around an hour and a half. So another half hour. That's actually pretty fair. Given we're almost an hour in at 60%, that's about an hour and a half long print. Yeah. I honestly don't know what to say right now. There's really not much to say other than just listen to it print. You can now physically see, you know, it's printing. It's made a solid object. You can't get much detail, I don't think, but it's printing and it's loud. Thank you for the like, good person. Well, we are a very tiny channel. Likes don't entirely, push us to the front page, but every like does mean we are more likely to be recommended to people who are in YouTube. And that's what we want. But then again, this is not exactly a super common thing, so we might be a little better off in this one. That is probably your only chance when you're starting YouTuber. Find one thing that's unique and just hope that everyone from that demographic that's been looking for that finds you. Oh my god, this is bothering me so much. The belt has just a string that's loose. I got it. Yes. I know it's it's making the belt fall apart, but it bothers me. I know it's not the printer. Belts fall apart. Belts are stringy. Belts don't even fall apart. They're just stringy. Yeah. But yeah, that one string is all I see as far as stringing in the print goes. Still non-layer lines. Once again, it could be silk PLA, it could be anything, but it looks clean. I know, I've just been sitting here flailing around this V6 hot end. Why? Because I think it's cool. It's a block, it's pretty much a chunk of aluminum. You think of it. I suppose this could be ASMR 3D printer noises or something like that. I don't know. It's freaking loud. So what you could just do is turn down your computer and have like bedtime machine noises. Feeling the desk right now. It's vibrating the desk a little bit. but it's not making annoying noises like my Ender would. So we're 72% in, and at 59 minutes, I think we're finishing before 2 hours. Just a hunch. Before 2 hours, yeah. Hot end temp still has yet to fluctuate, while the bed temp does. This is partly because it's moving around this big heated slab, so but yeah. Oh yeah, we're definitely almost done. Now, what I fear is this is going to be perfect right up until the top layer. I mean, looking at the top surface of some bits, well, I'm being cock-blocked right now by the printer head, but it looks good. The curves are high quality, even if they're top curves. So I approve. I can 100% say it for a starter printer, or even for owning a printer, I recommend it. Easy assembly, good features. It's got good features, a universal hot end. It's made out of pretty universal parts. So for the sake of modding, pretty good. It has a touchscreen I don't quite agree with. And it's pressure-based touchscreen, not like a capacitive. Or maybe that's what capacitive is. I think capacitive is the pressure one. Resistive is the finger one, where it actually detects based off the fingers. I forget. I don't know. That means you really gotta push on it a little bit, and that worries me. I don't like pushing. I like to be able to just gently go. What's funny is on Amazon, it's advertised as being as sensitive as a phone. I'm currently touching the back button on the screen. It's not doing anything. There we go. So there is that. But what seems to be happening with the bed is it's actually heating up to 61, then cooling down to 50, to 56, and then heating back up to 61, dropping back down. The bed temperature is okay to be dynamic. In all fairness, it doesn't need to stay super, super consistent. Some consistency is important because as it cools down, it does lose a little bit of grip on the print. Because the whole point of a glass bed is the fact that when it heats up, it's super adhesive to prints. And then when it cools down, it suddenly loses all grip on a print. This print surface cools down and all of a sudden the print just pops off. Though I'm never patient enough to let it cool off, so I mostly use it because it's a nice smooth surface that groups my prints in a level that I like. And I like having smooth surfaces. Some people say they don't like the super glossy texture. I actually love the super glossy smoothness. I will literally rub my face on the smooth side of the glass when I print on it. Like, whenever I pull a print off of the smooth glass, it's such a smooth surface. I love it. 77 minutes at an hour and 4. Or 77% at an hour and 4. Not 77 minutes. That was pretty close. That's pretty close. 78 at an hour and 4. Oh boy. As it's doing the owl's like chin, sort of. That's definitely an overhang. Oh, that's warm. I think that's the bed that's heating this. I hope. Because I kind of need a printer that can print for longer than an hour and a half. I hate to say this. I think we might actually do this before the hour and a half time. That'll be nice. Yeah. Unfortunately, it seems like my friends that I invited here might not make it. But yeah, welcome to chaos. I was greeted when I got home from my nan's with a big box, a heavy big box to be specific, and I'm glad I opened it. Oh yeah, the ice melted. That's unpleasant. Whatever, I'm gonna keep drinking. Now, what I love is it says this paper can be used for leveling. I didn't use paper for this. I eyeballed it. I've always gotten the best results from bed leveling by eyeballing. I don't know why. But using paper, I just can't seem to find what the correct friction is. Because I know what you want to do. What you want to do is you want to have the nozzle so it's perfectly on the bed with zero pressure, but the nozzle's touching the bed, not pressing, touching. Because what you want is that to be 0, 0. You want, what you're doing when you're leveling the bed is you're not leveling for the gap of the filament. The printer does that on its own. You're leveling to have 0. You want the printer to be able to define where 0 is. And that's the issue. So that's why I eyeball it. I just simply play the game of, can I see light pass through it? No? Okay. Raise it up a little. I see light. Lower it like half a turn. Half that turn that I did. I don't see light anymore. Raise it like half of that turn. You play the half game, basically. Oddly enough, it handled the overhangs really well, too. Despite only having a crappy cooling fan shroud. A tiny little slit that's only covering half the hot end and is basically blowing directly into the block rather than actually blowing into the print. Seriously, it's blowing directly against the silicone sock rather than actually blowing into the print. It needs to be lower. It 100% needs to be lower down. I know it's hard to get that perfect though, so I can excuse that one. But yeah, it is directly hitting the block. Not actually like hitting the nozzle so the way it angles down. I've seen that before, where the strad will go straight. So that way it hits the nozzle and the nozzle, because it's angled, directs the airflow down. And I like that. Kind of. Because you don't want the heat block or the nozzle to lose temperature. So the ideal setup is having it so it's angled perfectly to where the nozzle is. So the way it perfectly hits the filament coming out of the hot end. You don't want it to go straight down because if you're on a narrow surface, it's just gonna blow into the heat bed rather than blowing into the print. So what you want is it essentially to blow right up against the nozzle onto the print, which is a really tricky thing to design, definitely. But come on, covering one side of it, half-assed. I mean, this isn't half-assed. It's pretty good. It's doing the job at least. Better than the Creality one for some reason. So I gotta give it that. It's doing better than the Ender 3's setup is. And I see a lot fewer shrouds for this thing than I do the Ender 3. So I gotta give it that. 85. Ow. 86% at an hour and 10 minutes into the print. So I started this print at 141. Wow. Yeah. Because it says 111 right now, and we're at 152. Dang. That's nice. Yeah. So when this print ends, I'm going to show off the print, do a light recap, and then I think we're going to be done here. Yeah. It's definitely not going to be at the 3-hour mark. I was hoping we'd be like an almost perfect 3-hour stream, but that's not going to happen. Yeah, no, these look really nice. I see a little bit of blobbing, though, so I am a little disappointed, I think. I'm not sure, but I still only see one string at, like, what looks like layer 50. A lower layer, basically. And that's all. And it's a tiny, tiny wisp. In spite of the fact that these are two pretty small models. Huh, I just never realized there's a red light on the heat bed for when it heats up. Then it overheats, cools down, down to 60. It's a little too low, so it's heating up again. Back up to 61. Just looking at, there's a little red light underneath the bed. Just interesting stuff I noticed from time to time. Now, because this is PLA, I can't just yank the print off the bed, because the PLA at the base there is probably soft, and I will deform the base of the print. And I desperately want to see how this compares to the Creality bed. This seems so much smoother than the Creality bed. So we'll see. We will see. I I've gotten some pretty smooth based prints. I've always been a hair too low with my leveling. Oh, please don't mash my arm. There we go. Yeah. Always been a hair low. This is a good example. This is a pretty smooth base print. Very minimal warping. Good. This is a gift for a friend, by the way. It's a little Dobby bust. It's cute. These two owls will probably be a gift for someone too. Not sure though. Yeah, 91% at an hour and 15. 92% at an hour and 15. It's a race to get underneath the hour and 30-minute mark. Let's see if we can get this print to finish before the 3-hour stream mark. Finish in 4 minutes. I don't think so. Actually, maybe. All things considered. Three minutes now. This is actually a pretty fast print. The printer is moving pretty fast compared to what I've been able to pull off on my really crappily tuned ender. So, that's good. It means that this thing might in fact be my speed demon. And at least as of right now it is. Other than the resin printer, that thing is currently the fastest printer I have. Bar none. You physically cannot keep up with 3-second layers at such a low layer height. Zero acceleration, zero print moves other than up and down. SLA is just, it's a good method of printing for high detail, high speed. Especially when you're going by width, not by height. That's really nice too, is abusing that advantage. Oh wow, very first layer of solid fill above the infill. Nothing, no pocketing. It doesn't droop, it doesn't anything. Whoa, that's weird. There was a layer of solid, and then there's a layer of infill again. I think that may have been a slicer bug that they had, but they just kind of left it in. And now there's another solid fill layer. Is that normal? I don't know. But for some reason, we just had an infill layer. And there's another infill. And then there's a solid fill. But yet the left-hand one is still doing infill, normal infill. 95%, we might finish. Oh, we got 30 seconds left. 30 seconds left till the 3-hour mark. Nah, I don't think so. I really don't. Yeah. It's close. It was close. It was close. But I don't know why I find that such an important thing. It's just a pointless thing that I think would be kind of fun if a print was going to finish. All right. Yeah. Do they have hats? Okay, so suddenly at the ears, I'm seeing way more stringing. Not the ears, but these weird thin, super thin wings. But I mean, in all fairness, I understand. So one of them has a flat. Oh, that's cute. So one owl has a flower, the other one has a top hat. Okay, no, you can kind of see the top hat. That's good. Oh, it's currently the highest point on the print. So the print is entirely done beyond a top hat. And that's the last 2% of the print is top hat. Are we going to have like that long benchy that just was a standard benchy with a really long pipe leading out of it? Or are we just going to have an owl that has a freaking cat in a hat, like long hat? It's still going with infill, so another layer of infill. Another layer of infill. 98%. More infill. It's speeding up though. There, it looks like solid fill. No, that's solid fill. Okay, now we have solid fill. %. If I timed it perfectly, I could technically stop it now. The hat's got a little button at the top, it looks like. Oh, there's always that string at the top of the print. And it shows it off. Printing is done. Took an hour and 22 minutes. So loud. Yeah, that's firm. That is on the heated bed right now and might need the scraper. But looking at the print right here, it looks really nice. Minor stringing that I'm literally picking away with my finger. Bam, that string from earlier that I talked about is gone. Very, very light blobbage in between the owl with the flower's ears or horns or whatever they are. They look like horned owls. There we go. Okay, that's smooth. Yeah, that's shit. So that is the final print. Oh, damn it. That's sad. No, it scratches the bed. Why would they give me a scraper? They scratched the bed. Oh. Immediately, the moment I start to scrape, there's a scratch. Oh, that's so dumb. Okay, thank God. Now the printer is off. I don't need to talk so loud. But to put it simply right now, the level of adhesion that I'm feeling that has been applied to this bed is the likes of which I have never, ever encountered in a print. And the smoothness at the bottom of this print is brilliant. I've never used a silk type PLA, and there are definitely layer lines. I can see that now. When I was printing, I couldn't see layer lines, but I can see layer lines. But it is a very clean looking print, with my only issues being the trademark of A4988s being ghosting and various vibration allowing tendencies. And I'm going to put this up with my dog. I have a dog that is part resin, part FDM. Bottom half is the Ender 3's very first print ever. Top half is the resin print's very first print ever. Why? Because I felt like it. Now, this is going to suck. This is going to suck a lot. The fan shroud feels cool, by the way. I've never had this before, where the shroud felt cool after a print. At least not like this. Well, I guess if it's broken, there's no shame in taking the good old wire cutters and... There we go. Well, that didn't work. I was hoping I'd do is I'd scrape a little. There we go. Get it to pull off like a string. But regardless, we still scratched the goddamn bed. Alright, well, there we go. That pulled off satisfyingly. But the bottom surface, especially of the flowered owl, is incredibly smooth. So I approve. I'm a little saddened that it broke off, and it broke off in a very, very even way. So it's very clear that it was layer adhesion. That was the breaking point. Not saying that the layer adhesion is bad necessarily, but I'm saying that that is the weakest point. And that usually is with 3D prints. Layer adhesion is always the weakest point. This moves around easier than the Ender 3 carriages, but I feel more vibraty here, and also they're louder. But when printing, it's clear they did not cause any sort of effect on the print quality. Maybe beyond light ghosting, but it's really hard to tell because we're using A4988 stepper drivers, which once again are stepper drivers, very, very susceptible to ghosting and various other intrusions in printing. So this is the SD card adapter that will need another adapter because I don't have a USB printer computer anymore. But that's okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, so I'm gonna give my final words on this printer. Anycubic Mega S is the printer. Only qualms seem to be you included a scraper that scratches the glass bed. That hurts me physically. And also, so print adhesion is insane here. I need to figure out a way of lowering that and controlling it. Next is I also need to let the bed cool off properly, but here I am in a stream not wanting to wait here with absolutely nothing happening. So yeah. So print adhesion is insane. So let's start with the issues. Issues are obviously print head is engineered actually to be in a specific spot that is 10 millimeters within the print platform that could cover, being 220. I don't like the fact that it could have printed in a larger area, yet doesn't, despite the fact that the bed could literally support that. But instead, it seems to be for the safety of these tabs here. That could simply be avoided if you think about it when you're slicing. So that bothers me a little bit. The broken wire tab back here. That's two. And then really for me, it's just the display that bothers me a little. And so it's kind of 4 issues or so that I found with this printer. But otherwise, it seems to be a very sturdy build, very easy to level. I had an easy time doing it, and I level by sight, for crying out loud. It comes with all the bells and whistles to have a reliable printer. I could actually see this being a better printer than the Ender 3 for a print farm, mostly for the sake of dual Z for consistent leveling and homing, so you can run print after print with consistent results. The film and runout sensor. Yeah, and linear rails, meaning you don't have wheels that you need to replace every few 100 or 1,000 hours. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about the printer. It comes with a lot of really good features, being that it uses linear rails, dual Z. It's very easy to mod because it's based around the Prusa. It has a filament sensor. It comes with a glass bed. A Bondtech extruder, but it's loud. I forgot to mention this. It is loud. So, like, just sitting here while it was printing drove my ears to pain. So, yeah. But otherwise, I can say that for the price that this printer is, it is far ahead of a printer like the Ender 3, which is pretty much in its price range if you're getting a 3D printer. I can say I 100% recommend this printer because none of the flaws here are a flaw that would stop someone from being able to print. None of these are flaws that can physically halt someone from printing. Meanwhile, the Ender 3 does have flaws that will physically make it hard to print and will leave you tuning it and messing with it for a long time before you're able to do anything other than maybe modding the issue out, such as like the dual Z. This thing coming with dual Z makes it beautiful for reliability, because cantilever is bad. To put it fairly, it's not good. It's not a good design unless it's done with dual Z, because one side can so easily drag, and that just makes such a big issue sometimes. At least in my experience, it can be such an annoyance. I am noticing that I can... Okay, no, that's just the wiggle between the screw and the nut. So there's a little wiggle in the Z, and really what that wiggle is me lifting it up, and it's the Z rod wiggling within the nut that it sits in, the lead screw rod. But that's not natural force. Really the forces you're encountering are here. and this thing combats it all, it seems. So that's good. It seems stable. It seems reliable. I have almost no mess on my counter beyond that one print that failed. That's also really nice. You know, that print, I mean, obviously that print didn't have supports or anything like that, but there was also no stringing, nothing that I had to sand or file off immediately. I mean, it's a genuinely good print. I mean, obviously, you know, there's some stuff that I'm not entirely comfortable with, like this really weird spiral detail that's been made in the hat. I'm pretty sure you can't see this crappy camera, but whatever. But like, it's a horned owl, and the horns actually, not only did they form despite being really, really thin, but they formed with minimal stringing and blobbing. And they're angled too, and somehow don't droop. And now I know it's drop resistant from up to 2 feet. Yeah. But the bottom surface is definitely smoother than what my Ender 3 can produce, and I think just from being leveled properly. Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, this did start with printing a little low. I am deeply disturbed by the fact that this is a printer that is a glass, easy to scratch bed, and they gave me a scraper. And now my bed already has pretty deep scratches in it. And I don't like that at all. That physically hurt me. Seeing scratches in this brand new glass bed that has such a nice fine texture to it just kind of stings in a way that it shouldn't. But here we are. Anycubic Mega S. It's a good printer. It's a beautiful printer. Has no issues that will physically stop you from printing, and has issues that will actually help you with printing. So I can absolutely say that if you are on the market for a printer, I can recommend this printer more than the Ender 3 even. And that's purely because it's just way better in design. I also think it's more compact, at least in total mass. I actually don't know. Definitely in height. In height, it's definitely shorter than the Ender. Yeah, in total height, it's shorter than the Ender, but that's also because it's missing 50 millimeters in comparison to Z height. Or 40. 50. No, it's missing about 45, according to the official print height. And technically, the Ender 3 can do like 5 to 10 millimeters higher, depending on how low you've positioned your end stops to level the bed, too. Yeah. I mean, technically, you could do that to this thing, too. You could really nickel and dime the end stops, but I don't believe in doing that kind of thing. If you're printing something that high, get a bigger printer. Just in my opinion, that I think that's a better idea. Build something like a Voron and use this thing to print out all the parts for it. Yeah. But this thing's definitely nice. This thing is beautiful. And it could definitely use with having an SKR 1.4 put on it to make it quiet. And I think that's probably the first thing I'm going to do is fan and then probably a 1.4 on this thing. Just because it's, I know I keep saying it, but it's loud, and I will not be able to sleep while this thing is printing. I did just now realize there's one screw over here on the right that is loose. Oh no, I can physically move this screw in and out. Meanwhile, there's a screw over here that I cannot. So I need to tighten you. Well, one moment, please. So that's not good. That's not good at all. But pretty easy to just... Why am I glad I didn't try and go for a torque setup with that? Because this takes way more rotations than I thought it would. Okay, that should work. I have no clue what that's holding in. Oh, whoops. That's holding in. Okay, so that's not an important thing if it's super tightened down. What that was that was holding the metal bracket that I was fighting with when I was assembling this thing. That I was super scared about breaking or bending. That was that. That was the screw that holds that in place, because that can be loosened and removed, so the way you don't need to disassemble this whole big carriage, just so the way you can take out the bottom and look at the motherboard. Yeah, but I will say a lot of these screws coincide with the motherboard. These 4 screws over here have to do with the this is the PSU. These are 4 screws right above the PSU. Then you have, I think it's these 2 up here that manage the board, or the few back there that manage the board. I'm not sure. Maybe the few back there are, no, the few back there are holding the motor in. Yeah. Yeah. But you can also nickel and dime for Y space. It's very clear that they could have moved the end stop back a little farther and given you a little bit more room here. Could have set the X end stop back a little bit, just a little bit farther. There's absolutely room to do that without engineering anything special. Now, as far as the other axes go, that is a physical end stop, and it does not look like... No, you absolutely... Yes, you can. They could have made it so way this had a little bit more room, too. But yeah, because it's hollow aluminum right here. There's like 5 millimeters of hollow aluminum here that doesn't have anything in it, that it absolutely could cramp in to give us the extra 5 millimeters on each side, so the nozzle could perfectly sit at this corner and give us full range of the bed. But yet it doesn't, and that hurts me a little bit inside. But yeah, it's a good printer. I have to say it's a really nice printer, and I approve. 10 out of 10. Will print again, probably. Actually, definitely. I kind of have to, considering I don't have another printer right now beyond my orange 10 that I'm not going to be using for that purpose. Because resin is not cheap. And I don't need to anymore, because I got this big boy. Well, small boy, but shush. Yeah, I have no clue where this printer is actually going to fit beyond down there. I have no big cabinets for it, so this is going to be a fun endeavor, trying to fight the noise this thing makes, because I had to do the whole process with the Ender. Noise was a real process for me to handle with the Ender 3, just because there was so much to combat there. You had to combat the drivers. The motors on the Ender 3 were so loud. The fans were pretty loud too. The PSU fan still is loud. That's the one fan I can't silence yet. Drives me crazy because I just can't find a cheap 24-volt silent fan. 60 millimeter by 60 millimeter. It's too specific and I can't search for the part. Yeah. So it bothers me a lot, but yeah. Not much I can do. But yeah. This printer is definitely going to be a little bit of a an experience, I think. But this is going to be a nice printer to use to me. Just because it'll be a refreshing thing to have a printer that's actually well engineered and is a fairly recent entry as far as printers go. That's also a big thing is this thing kind of has a leg up on the Ender 3 due to time it was produced. Then again, Creality still makes printers of very similar spec and design to the Ender 3. So I don't think age is an excuse at all. But yeah, it is now 12:30. Well, it's 12:20 to be specific, but it's late. I'm tired. I've been going to bed at 9:30 every day and waking up at 6 as of recent, so this is late for me. So I'm going to tell all of you good night. I'm going to fuss with the printer tomorrow. But yeah, because I'm done with this thing. I'm going to probably eat, drink, sleep. I'm done. So I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye. 2 clicks. All right, well, I guess bye-bye in a few seconds. All right, bye.